But we're going to start the program with artificial intelligence and that massive $500 billion Stargate announcement by Donald Trump alongside Oracle founder Larry Ellison, Softbank Chief Executive Masayoshi Son, and also the Open AI Chief Executive Sam Altman.
But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America.
Last month, I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500. Because this is the, as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America.
But look, it is important to note that Trump's main tech bro, Elon Musk, who ironically helped found Open AI and ChatGPT, poured cold water on this project to an extent. Musk's openly hostile towards Open AI's boss, Sam Altman, and he's cast doubt on these companies' ability to raise the $500 billion for the Stargate project. But look, projects such as these do show the challenge and potential of artificial intelligence. And Australia right now has a choice. Do we import the knowledge from the global tech giants, think Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft or OpenAI, or do we seek to do this ourselves? The answer could make a significant difference into how much value Australia takes from what some call the next leg of the Industrial Revolution. Well, Professor Anton van den Hengel is the founding director of the Australian Institute for Machine Learning, Australia's biggest machine learning research group. It's part of the University of Adelaide, and he joins me now. Anton, many thanks for your time. Let's go to this, because it goes to Australia's sovereign capability as to whether we import this technology or whether we try and do it here in Australia. But we can't surely raise $500 billion if even the US is struggling to do it.
Yeah, indeed. This is a critical point in our development, not only kind of technologically, but also in terms of where our economy is going to go. And although it looks like we have a choice, we don't really. We have to make this leap towards a modern economy. The decision, though, isn't to go and find $500 billion. The decision is only to find our path up the mountain. We are, through AUKUS, very tightly engaged with the US. We don't need to replicate what they're already doing. We just need to partner with them and make sure that we progress along with them. So, there's enough space in the sun for everybody, and Australia has very good capability in this space. We can build on it, and we can do it. We just need to invest at a scale commensurate with some of the other nations around us that have already taken the leap.
So I've already just done a bit of research, and Australia now has 308 data centres and growing very rapidly. In fact, there's a new arrangement with Microsoft, which is committed to spend $5 billion on data centres over the next 2 years. But the question is, to go to this truly generative artificial intelligence, this new leg of this industrial revolution, you really need even many more again, don't you?
Yeah, we need more data centres, but we also need those data centres to be running Australian AI. So it's fantastic that we're getting investment into the raw capacity, but what we're missing is the investment in building our own sovereign AI capability. So it's one thing to build the data centres that Microsoft can run their models on. It's an entirely different thing to build our own skills, our own models, and therefore our own businesses on top of that capability.
So you've been working in this area for such a long time. You've always seen the potential of machine learning, of the artificial intelligence. But the fact is that it's not just the build which is massive, and that's enormous, but it's what comes from that build. It's the businesses, the ideas, the breakthroughs that come from that. That's where any economy and a country such as Australia can't miss out.
Exactly. So we've lived through a time when Google and Facebook and Uber have come in and taken over big parts of Australian industries. And yet somehow we seem to be ignoring the fact that we're now sending a lot of our advertising spend and a lot of our transport spend overseas. We can't continue to have big bits of our economy taken over by foreign multinationals. We have to get in there and participate in this modern economy. You can't make it illegal, right? Uber was illegal when they started here. and it didn't make any difference. They just paid the fines. All of this stuff happens on the internet, and the internet is pretty much a free-for-all. The only way that you can push back, the only way that you can control your own destiny is to engage with this technology and develop those businesses in Australia.
So who are the most likely organisations that have the pockets deep enough to be able to develop this? I mean, quite clearly, you look at our list of top companies in Australia and they're banks and mining companies broadly. Are there any that you believe have that capability to do so here in Australia?
Yeah, so the Commonwealth Bank have recently invested here at the Australian Institute for Machine Learning, and they're doing very well. They've got very strong capability. I see that Telstra have just announced $600 million, but they're unfortunately going to Accenture, which isn't necessarily going into Australian capability. We're a rich country. We have the capacity. We've got massive mining companies, massive agricultural assets. We can afford to do this. We're a rich country. We just have to decide that it's a priority.
But is one of the real issues here that executives at companies who are struggling to get their heads around this will simply see this as a labour-saving device, as compared with seeing it as a device which generates new business opportunities, things that we can't even understand yet? I mean, you're talking about breakthroughs in medical science, but there's so many other breakthroughs that it could actually take if you take that sovereign ownership of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important that we go around and improve our efficiency because we're in a productivity slump as a nation. So we need to go and do the easy things with AI to improve productivity. But as you say, the big opportunity is to develop new businesses, entirely new businesses that didn't exist before, and sell those services overseas. And we're a customer for those businesses right now. And we have a few good examples, right? Atlassian and Canva are doing a fantastic job. There's a few others. We can do it from here. We just need to choose to make our focus external rather than internal, and to build the skills as much as anything. It's both the technical and the commercial skills required to identify and then capture these huge advantages. There's a gold rush going on, but unfortunately we're largely missing out as a nation.
Okay, so Anton, you heard there Donald Trump saying in that introduction about the emergency powers that he's creating to create the energy, where you can see that even mini reactors, nuclear reactors, will be put alongside some of these data centres to provide the electricity that's required. And because generative AI uses many thousands of times the electricity than a basic Google search, this is where people have got to recognise that this decision about artificial intelligence is parallel with the decision about energy policy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the opportunities for Australia is that we have such an incredible abundance of green power that we can become a world leader in green-powered AI. We can build data centres near the power sources, near the solar arrays, near the wind farms, and become a global provider of this kind of technology at a point in the daily cycle that is independent of all the rest. So when the sun is shining in Australia and we have all of this excess power, we can turn that into information processing capability, turn it into AI, and then sell that AI power overseas. We're really well placed to do this. Interesting that Donald Trump sees that the US has an emergency, that they're responding to a dire need to transform their economy, when they are 10 years ahead of us. We also have an emergency. We need to transform our economy. We're very well placed to do it. We just have to take the first step.
It's going to be fascinating, and there's no doubt that that is a key message to politicians and to business leaders right here in Australia. Professor Anton van den Hengel, the founding director of the Australian Institute for Machine Learning, who's been at this, I've got to say, for decades. Anton, finally, your day in the sun, as it were, has come about as well.
Yeah, it's a great time to be in AI. And, we have fantastic skills here. We have the capacity to be a global leader, largely because of our people. These are the jobs of the future. And, let's hope that we can actually make the transition.
Indeed. Anton, many thanks for your time.